Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Liberty, watching the stars drift past through the main viewing screen. The ship had been traveling through the Kepler sector for 3 months now, mapping unknown star systems and collecting data about planets that might support human life someday. Jake had commanded the Liberty for 2 years, and he knew every sound the ship made, every vibration that ran through her hull. The Liberty was not the biggest ship in the human fleet, but she was reliable. 200 crew members called her home, including scientists who studied alien worlds, engineers who kept the systems running, and security officers who protected them all. Dr. Amy Collins ran the medical bay with quiet efficiency, while Chief Engineer Lisa Park made sure the engines never failed. Security Chief Ryan Brooks kept watch for any threats, though they had not encountered any hostile aliens in their long journey. The bridge hummed with quiet activity as the crew went about their daily routines. Lieutenant Commander Steve Martinez monitored the sensor arrays from his station, watching for anything unusual in the empty space around them. Communications Officer Nathan Hill listened for any signals from other human ships or unknown sources. Computer Specialist Hannah Torres kept the ship's systems running smoothly, while electronics expert Ben Clark maintained the complex equipment that made space travel possible. In the science labs, botanist Dr. Kelly Wright tended to the plants that provided fresh food and clean air for the crew. The hydroponics bay was her domain, where she grew vegetables and fruits that made the recycled ship food taste better. Everyone had their job and everyone did it well. Jake was reading the morning reports when Steve Martinez called out from his station. "Captain, I'm picking up some strange energy readings from the planetary system ahead. It's not like anything in our databases." Jake walked over to look at the sensor display. The system they were approaching had 5 planets orbiting a dying star. According to their long-range scans, none of the planets could support life, and there were no signs of any civilization. But the energy readings Steve had detected were definitely artificial. "Any chance it's another human ship?" Jake asked. Steve shook his head. "Oh, no, sir. The energy signature is completely different from our technology. It's more advanced but also more subtle, like whoever built it was trying to hide it." Dr. Amy Collins joined them on the bridge, having heard the alert. She looked at the readings with interest. Could be some kind of automated station left behind by an extinct civilization. "We should investigate." Jake considered the options. Their mission was to explore and gather information about unknown regions of space. Finding evidence of alien technology, even old technology, would be a major discovery. "All right, we'll take a closer look." Steve set course for the 3rd planet. That seems to be where the energy readings are strongest. The Liberty changed direction and headed toward the mysterious planet. As they got closer, the energy readings became stronger and more complex. Hannah Torres ran the data through the ship's computers, but nothing matched any known technology patterns. "It's definitely artificial," she reported, "but I can't figure out what it's supposed to do. The energy patterns keep shifting, like it's adapting to our presence." Unknown to the humans, they were being watched. Far beyond their sensor range, 3 ships waited in the darkness between the stars. These ships belonged to the Zaphirian Empire, a powerful alien civilization that had been expanding across the galaxy for thousands of years. The Zaphirians had destroyed or conquered hundreds of other species, and they saw humans as just another potential threat to be eliminated. Commander Vextar studied the human ship through his advanced sensors. The Liberty was primitive by Zaphirian standards, but Vextar had learned not to underestimate other species. Humans were new to space travel, but they had shown a disturbing tendency to adapt and survive in situations that should have killed them. "The human ship is approaching the decoy station as planned," Vextar reported to his superior. "They are curious about our technology, just as our intelligence predicted." Admiral Kethmore's voice came through the communication system from the flagship. "Good. Once they are distracted by the investigation, you will board their ship and plant the sabotage devices. Make it look like system failures, not an attack. We want them to die slowly, and we want any rescue ships to walk into the same trap." Vextar acknowledged the orders and prepared his infiltration team. Zaphirian technology included advanced cloaking systems and matter-phasing devices that would allow them to board the human ship without being detected. The plan was simple and had worked against dozens of other species over the years. On the Liberty, the crew continued their investigation of the mysterious energy source. Captain Morrison ordered the ship to maintain a safe distance while they gathered more data. Lisa Park monitored the engines carefully, making sure they could leave quickly if necessary. Ryan Brooks had his security teams on alert, though he was not sure what they might be facing. The Zaphirian infiltration began while the humans were focused on their sensors and computers. 3 small ships, invisible to human detection systems, approached the Liberty from different angles. Using their phasing technology, Zaphirian soldiers passed through the hull like ghosts, entering the ship without triggering any alarms. Vextar led one team to the engine room, where they planted sophisticated devices designed to overload the power systems. Another team targeted the life support systems, installing sabotage equipment that would gradually reduce air quality and temperature. The third team focused on the navigation and communication systems, planting devices that would scramble the ship's computers and prevent them from calling for help. The sabotage devices were works of art by Zaphirian standards. They used quantum manipulation technology to hide themselves within the ship's systems, appearing to be normal components until they were activated. Once triggered, they would cause cascading failures that would look like random mechanical problems or computer errors. Dr. Amy Collins was in the medical bay when she noticed the first sign that something was wrong. The environmental sensors showed tiny fluctuations in air pressure and temperature, so small that the ship's computers dismissed them as sensor noise. But Amy had been monitoring the ship's life support systems for years, and she knew when something was not normal. She called Lisa Park in engineering. "Lisa, I'm seeing some unusual readings in the environmental systems. Nothing dangerous yet, but the patterns are strange." Lisa checked her own monitors and frowned. "I see what you mean. The fluctuations are too regular to be random, but too small to trigger any alarms. I'll run a full diagnostic." Meanwhile, Nathan Hill noticed brief interruptions in the ship's communication systems. The interruptions only lasted milliseconds, but they occurred at regular intervals. He ran tests on the equipment but could not find any problems. Hannah Torres saw similar anomalies in the computer networks. Tiny delays in data processing, minor errors in calculations that corrected themselves immediately, memory fluctuations that seemed to fix themselves before any damage occurred. Each problem was too small to worry about, but together they formed a pattern that made her uneasy. The Zaphirian infiltrators completed their mission and retreated to their ships. Vextar activated the sabotage devices with a remote signal, then withdrew to a safe distance to watch the results. According to Zaphirian calculations, the Liberty would be completely disabled within hours, and the crew would be dead within days. The sabotage began with a power fluctuation in the main engines. Lisa Park was running her diagnostic when the engines suddenly shut down, leaving the Liberty drifting in space. Emergency power kicked in, but the backup systems began failing one by one. Life support started reducing air circulation and heating. The navigation computers crashed and restarted with corrupted data. Captain Morrison rushed to the bridge as alarms sounded throughout the ship. "Report," he called out. "Multiple system failures, sir," Steve Martinez replied, his voice tense. "Engines are offline, life support is degrading, and navigation is scrambled. It looks like everything is failing at once." Jake stared at the displays showing red warning lights across all ship systems. In his years of commanding the Liberty, he had never seen anything like this. But instead of panic, he felt a cold determination settling over him. His crew was depending on him to keep them alive, and he was not about to let them down. "All hands, this is the captain," he announced over the ship's communication system. "We are experiencing multiple system failures of unknown origin. All departments are to begin emergency procedures immediately. We will find a way through this." Unknown to Jake and his crew, their real test was just beginning. The Zaphirians expected the humans to follow standard distress protocols, call for help and die slowly while waiting for rescue ships that would never come. But humans had a reputation throughout the galaxy for doing the unexpected, and the Liberty's crew was about to prove why that reputation was well-deserved. Captain Jake Morrison gathered his senior officers in the emergency meeting room as the Liberty drifted helplessly through space. The ship's lights flickered occasionally, and the air felt stale as the life support system struggled to maintain normal conditions. Outside the small windows, stars moved slowly past as the ship tumbled without engine control. "Status report," Jake said, looking at each of his officers in turn. Lisa Park spoke first, her voice steady despite the crisis. "Main engines are completely offline. The power systems are failing in sequence like dominoes falling down. Every time I fix one problem, two more appear. It's not random mechanical failure, Captain. Something is causing this. Dr. Amy Collins nodded in agreement. The medical sensors are picking up traces of unknown technology throughout the ship. It's very subtle, but it's definitely there. Whatever is causing our problems, it's not from Earth. Security Chief Ryan Brooks leaned forward. My teams have searched the ship 3 times. No signs of intruders or bombs. But Dr. Collins is right about the unknown technology. My scanners are detecting energy signatures that don't match anything in our databases. Steve Martinez pulled up a display on his tablet. I've been analyzing the failure patterns. They're too coordinated to be accidents. Someone or something is deliberately sabotaging our systems, but they're doing it very cleverly. It looks like normal equipment failure unless you know what to look for. Jake listened to the reports and made a decision that would surprise the aliens watching from a distance. Instead of sending out distress calls or trying to restore the original systems, he chose a different path. We're not calling for help, he announced. If someone sabotaged our ship, they might be waiting to attack any rescue vessels. We're going to solve this problem ourselves. Hannah Torres looked up from her computer. Captain, with respect, our technology is primitive compared to whatever did this to us. How can we fight something we don't understand? Jake smiled grimly. We're going to learn. Hannah, I want you to work with Steve to study these sabotage devices. Don't try to remove them yet. First, figure out how they work. Over the next few days, the crew of the Liberty began to do something the Zaphirians had never seen before. Instead of panicking or simply trying to repair the damage, they started to learn from it. Steve Martinez and Dr. Amy Collins worked together to carefully examine the alien technology that had been planted throughout their ship. These devices are incredible, Amy said as she studied one of the sabotage units under her medical scanner. They use quantum manipulation to hide inside our systems. The technology is hundreds of years ahead of anything we have. Steve was equally fascinated. Look at how they interface with our computers. They're not just destroying our systems, they're rewriting them. If we could understand how this works, we could use it ourselves. In the engineering section, Lisa Park was taking apart damaged equipment and rebuilding it in new ways. She had always been good at improvising repairs, but now she was creating something entirely different. Using parts from the ship's scientific instruments, mining tools, and even kitchen appliances, she began building hybrid systems that combined human engineering with principles learned from the alien devices. The sabotage devices generate power by manipulating quantum fields, she explained to Ben Clark as they worked on a new power coupling. If we can copy that principle and apply it to our own generators, we might be able to restore main power. Ben nodded as he connected circuits with alien components they had carefully removed from less critical systems. It's like learning a new language. Every connection teaches us something new about how their technology works. Dr. Kelly Wright was working in the hydroponics bay when she made an unexpected discovery. The alien devices had affected the plant growth systems, but instead of killing the plants, they had accelerated their growth rate. Plants that normally took weeks to mature were ready for harvest in days. The quantum fields are affecting biological processes too, she reported to the captain. If we can control this effect, we could solve our food production problems and maybe even improve the life support systems. Nathan Hill was studying the communication aspects of the sabotage devices. He discovered that they were not just disrupting the Liberty's communications, they were also transmitting data back to their creators. But instead of blocking these transmissions, Nathan had a better idea. Captain, I think I can use their own communication system against them, he said during the daily briefing. The devices are sending status reports about our ship's condition. If I can hack into that system, I can send false information. Let them think we're dying while we actually get stronger. Jake approved the plan. Do it. Make them think their sabotage is working perfectly. Hannah Torres made the biggest breakthrough when she realized that the alien devices could be networked together. Working with Ben Clark, she created a primitive interface between the Liberty's computers and the alien quantum processors. The result was computational power beyond anything in the human fleet. It's like adding a supercomputer to every system on the ship, she explained as she showed Jake the new capabilities. Our computers can now process data thousands of times faster than before. We can run simulations and calculations that would have taken months in just minutes. The transformation accelerated as the crew learned to work with the alien technology instead of fighting against it. Lisa Park's engineering teams began installing quantum power generators throughout the ship. Steve Martinez developed new sensor arrays that could detect objects and energy sources far beyond the range of normal human equipment. Dr. Amy Collins found that the alien technology could enhance medical equipment as well. Her scanners could now detect diseases and injuries at the cellular level, and her treatment systems could accelerate healing using controlled quantum fields. Ryan Brooks was initially skeptical of using alien technology for security systems, but he changed his mind when he saw what it could do. The enhanced sensors could track individual crew members anywhere on the ship and detect threats that normal equipment would miss. "I can see through walls now," he told Jake during a security briefing, "and I can detect the emotional state of anyone on the ship. If someone is planning something dangerous, I'll know about it before they act." As the weeks passed, the Liberty began to change in ways that were visible even from the outside. The hull showed signs of modification as Lisa Park's teams installed new equipment and rerouted power systems. The ship's energy signature grew stronger as the quantum generators came online. From their hidden position, Commander Vextar and his Zaphirian crew watched these changes with growing concern. The human ship should have been dead by now, but instead it was showing signs of increased activity and power generation. "The energy readings are wrong," Vextar reported to his superior. "The human ship is generating more power than it did before the sabotage. Something is not working according to plan." Admiral Kethamor's response came back quickly. "Humans are primitive. They cannot possibly understand our technology well enough to use it. Continue observing. They will die soon enough." But on the Liberty, the crew was proving that assessment wrong. Jake Morrison stood on his bridge and watched the status displays show green lights where there had been red warnings just weeks before. His ship was not just repaired, it was better than it had ever been. "Captain," Hannah Torres called out from her station, "I'm detecting the ships that have been watching us. They're trying to stay hidden, but our new sensors can see right through their cloaking technology." Jake smiled. The hunters had become the hunted, and they did not even know it yet. "Excellent work, everyone. Now let's show our alien friends what happens when you underestimate human ingenuity." 3 weeks after the sabotage began, Captain Jake Morrison walked through corridors that no longer looked like they belonged on a human ship. The walls hummed with quantum energy, and strange blue lights pulsed through transparent tubes that Lisa Park's engineering teams had installed to carry power to the new hybrid systems. The Liberty had become something entirely different from the research vessel that had entered the Kepler sector. Jake stopped at the main engineering section, where Lisa Park was overseeing the installation of the ship's most dramatic modification. The entire back wall had been removed and replaced with a transparent aluminum viewing panel that showed the space behind the ship. But what Jake saw there made him catch his breath. The Liberty was growing. Using raw materials harvested from nearby asteroids, the ship's new quantum manipulation systems were adding sections to the hull. Robotic arms controlled by the hybrid computer system reached out into space, grabbing chunks of metal and rock and somehow transforming them into new compartments and corridors. "How big can we make her?" Jake asked Lisa as they watched another section of hull take shape. Lisa wiped sweat from her forehead and grinned. "According to Hannah's calculations, there's no real limit as long as we have raw materials to work with. The quantum fields can reshape matter at the molecular level. We're essentially building a new ship around the old one." Dr. Amy Collins joined them, carrying a tablet full of medical data. "The transformation is affecting the crew too, but in good ways. The quantum fields are improving our immune systems and increasing our physical strength. People are healing faster from injuries and getting sick less often." Jake nodded. He had noticed that he felt stronger and more alert than he had in years. The alien technology was not just improving their ship, it was improving them as well. In the computer center, Hannah Torres was working with systems that would have been impossible to imagine just a month ago. The Liberty's computers now processed information using both human logic and alien quantum calculations. The result was an artificial intelligence that could think in ways no human or alien computer had ever managed. "Captain, I need to show you something," Hannah said as Jake entered her section. She pulled up a 3-dimensional display that showed the space around their ship. "Our new sensors can detect objects and energy sources across multiple dimensions. Look at this." The display showed not just the Zaphirian ships that were watching them, but also details about their technology, crew size, and weapon capabilities. The enhanced sensors could see through their cloaking systems as if they were not there at all. "We know everything about them," Hannah continued. Their ship designs, their communication frequencies, even the emotional states of their crew members. They have no idea how much we can see. Ben Clark was working in what used to be the ship's weapons bay, but was now something much more impressive. He had combined human projectile technology with alien energy manipulation to create weapons that existed in multiple dimensions at once. A single shot from these new weapons could hit targets that were hiding in different layers of space-time. The beauty of it is that their shields are designed to stop either human kinetic weapons or alien energy beams. Ben explained to Ryan Brooks as they tested the new systems. But our hybrid weapons use both principles simultaneously. Their defenses cannot handle something that attacks on multiple levels at once. Ryan was equally impressed with the new security systems. The quantum sensors could track every person on the ship and monitor their health, emotional state, and intentions. If anyone was planning something dangerous, the system would know about it immediately. It's like having a security guard who can read minds, Ryan said. But the really amazing part is what it's telling us about the aliens watching us. They're getting nervous. Their stress levels are increasing every day as they realize something is wrong with their plan. Dr. Kelly Wright had transformed the hydroponics bay into something that looked more like a science fiction movie than a simple garden. Plants grew at incredible speeds under the influence of controlled quantum fields, producing food faster than the crew could eat it. But Kelly had discovered something even more important. The quantum fields can affect any biological system, she explained to Jake during his daily tour of the ship. We can grow food faster, heal injuries quicker, and even enhance human physical and mental capabilities. If we wanted to, we could probably extend human lifespans by decades or centuries. Nathan Hill had made perhaps the most important discovery of all. By studying the communication protocols used by the sabotage devices, he had learned to speak the Zaphirian language and access their information networks. The Liberty now had complete access to Zaphirian star charts, technical databases, and military intelligence. They've been conquering other species for thousands of years, Nathan reported during the evening briefing. Hundreds of civilizations have been destroyed or enslaved by the Zaphirian Empire. They see humans as just another primitive species to be eliminated. Steve Martinez had been working with the quantum tunneling technology and made a breakthrough that would change everything. The Liberty could now move through space in ways that defied normal physics, appearing to teleport from one location to another or phase in and out of normal space-time. We're not limited to normal space travel anymore, Steve explained as he demonstrated the new propulsion system. We can move through quantum tunnels that connect different parts of the galaxy. What used to take months of travel can now be done in minutes. Jake stood on his transformed bridge and looked at the displays showing the ship's incredible new capabilities. The Liberty now had the firepower of a battleship, the sensors of a deep space observatory, and the mobility of something from a dream. But more importantly, his crew had grown from 200 people to over 400 as the ship's expanded facilities allowed them to rescue and recruit people from other vessels and space stations they encountered. Commander, Vexter watched the human ship from his hidden position and felt something he had never experienced before: fear. The Liberty's energy signature now rivaled that of a Zaphirian heavy cruiser, and his sensors detected weapon systems that his computers could not identify or categorize. Admiral, we need to attack now before they become even more powerful, Vextar transmitted to his superior. The humans have done something impossible. They have turned our sabotage into an advantage. Admiral Kethmore's response was swift and angry. Impossible. Humans are primitive. You are seeing equipment failures on your own ship, not improvements on theirs. Continue your mission. But Vextar knew what he was seeing was real. The human ship had become something new and dangerous, something that challenged everything the Zaphirians thought they knew about technology and evolution. He began to prepare his ships for battle, knowing that the advantage of surprise was already lost. On the Liberty, Jake Morrison made a decision that would echo across the galaxy. His ship was no longer just a research vessel or even a warship. It had become proof that humans could not only survive alien attacks but could evolve beyond them. Set course for the nearest Zaphirian outpost, he ordered. It's time to introduce ourselves properly. The first Zaphirian ship died without ever seeing what killed it. Commander Vextar was reviewing sensor data when his smallest scout vessel simply vanished from all detection systems. One moment it was there, the next moment empty space remained where the ship had been patrolling. Report, Vextar demanded from his bridge crew. Unknown, sir, his sensor operator replied nervously. The skybreaker was following standard patrol patterns when it disappeared. No distress signal, no energy discharge, no debris. It's as if the ship never existed. Vexitar felt his stomach tighten. In 30 years of military service, he had never lost a ship without knowing how or why. The Zaphirian Empire ruled the galaxy because their technology was superior to every other species they had encountered. Ships did not simply vanish. Increase sensor sweeps, he ordered. Find that ship or find what destroyed it. What Vexitar did not know was that the Liberty had used its quantum tunneling technology to appear directly inside the Zaphirian scout ship's shields. Ryan Brooks had led a boarding party equipped with personal armor, enhanced by alien quantum fields. The human soldiers had phased through the scout ship's hull like ghosts, disabled the crew with stunning weapons that operated on multiple dimensional levels, and then used the ship's own systems to make it disappear from Zaphirian sensors. Captain Jake Morrison stood in the Liberty's new command center, which was 3 times larger than the original bridge and filled with hybrid technology that combined human intuition with alien computational power. Hannah Torres operated sensor systems that could track enemies across multiple dimensions, while Ben Clark controlled weapons that could strike targets hiding in folded space. Zaphirian scout vessel secured, Ryan Brooks reported through the quantum communication system. Crew of 12 captured alive, all technical data downloaded, ship ready for transport to our holding bay. Jake nodded with satisfaction. The Liberty now had one of the most advanced scout ships in the Zaphirian fleet, along with its crew and all their technical knowledge. Dr. Amy Collins would interrogate the prisoners using a combination of human psychology and alien neural interface technology to learn everything they knew about Zaphirian military capabilities. Excellent work, Jake replied. Nathan, are you ready to send our message? Nathan Hill smiled as he activated the captured Zaphirian communication equipment. Broadcasting on all Zaphirian military frequencies now, Captain. The message that went out to the remaining Zaphirian ships was simple but terrifying. It contained complete technical specifications for their scout ship, personal information about each crew member, and detailed knowledge of Zaphirian military codes and procedures. The message made it clear that the humans not only knew the aliens were watching them, but had captured one of their ships without triggering any alarms. Commander Vexitar received the transmission and felt something he had never experienced in his long military career: helplessness. The humans had taken one of his ships and its entire crew without making a sound. The technical data in the message proved they had complete access to Zaphirian systems and could probably do the same thing to his remaining vessels. How is this possible? He demanded of his science officer. Humans are supposed to be primitive. Their technology is centuries behind ours. The science officer studied the data with growing alarm. Sir, this information could only come from our own computers. Somehow they have gained access to our most classified military databases. The weapon signatures in this transmission do not match any known technology from any species in our records. Steve Martinez was demonstrating the Liberty's new mobility systems by making the massive ship appear in multiple locations simultaneously. The enhanced quantum tunneling technology allowed the Liberty to exist in several different dimensional phases at once, confusing Zaphirian sensors and making it impossible for them to target the ship with conventional weapons. They think they're hunting one ship, Steve explained to Jake as they watched the tactical display. But we can be in 5 different places at the same time. Their weapons are designed to hit targets that exist in normal space-time, not targets that are spread across multiple quantum dimensions. Lisa Park had spent the past week upgrading the Liberty's power systems to handle the incredible energy demands of multidimensional combat. The ship now contained quantum singularities that provided virtually unlimited power while being controlled by human intuition and alien precision. We're drawing more energy than some small stars, Lisa reported with obvious pride. The quantum reactors can channel enough power to level mountains or heal planets. We're essentially immune to most forms of attack while being capable of devastating offensive strikes. The second Zaphirian ship to disappear was a heavy cruiser with a crew of 300. Ben Clark had targeted it with the Liberty's new dimensional weapons, which fired projectiles that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. The Zaphirian shields were designed to stop either energy beams or physical projectiles, but not hybrid weapons that were both and neither at the same time. The cruiser's destruction was spectacular and visible across several star systems. The quantum-enhanced weapons tore through the ship's defenses and caused a cascade failure that consumed the vessel in brilliant energy discharges. The explosion sent a clear message to any Zaphirian forces in the area that something new and dangerous had entered their territory. Dr. Amy Collins had been interrogating the captured Zaphirian scout crew and learning disturbing information about the alien empire. Using a combination of traditional questioning techniques and alien neural scanners, she discovered that the Zaphirians had destroyed hundreds of civilizations over the millennia. They don't just conquer other species, Amy reported to Jake during the daily briefing. They completely eliminate them. Entire planets are sterilized. Entire cultures are erased from history. They see every other form of life as a threat to be removed. Dr. Kelly Wright had been using the ship's expanded facilities to analyze biological samples taken from the captured Zaphirians. Her discoveries were both fascinating and concerning. Their biology is completely different from ours, Kelly explained. They've been genetically modified over thousands of years to be perfect soldiers. No empathy, no creativity, no ability to adapt to new situations. They're essentially biological machines designed for conquest. Nathan Hill had been using his access to Zaphirian communication networks to spread confusion and paranoia among their forces. By sending false orders and contradictory information through their own command channels, he was causing their military coordination to break down. Their fleet commanders are starting to argue with each other, Nathan reported with satisfaction. They can't figure out what's happening or how to respond. Some of them think they're being attacked by a new alien species. Others believe it's some kind of internal rebellion. The third Zaphirian ship was captured intact when Hannah Torres used the Liberty's advanced sensors to take control of its computer systems remotely. The hybrid artificial intelligence had learned to think in Zaphirian programming, languages, and could override their security protocols from a distance. Their cybersecurity is designed to stop attacks from other Zaphirian systems, Hannah explained as they watched the captured ship dock with the Liberty. They never considered the possibility of hybrid human-alien artificial intelligence. We can walk through their defenses like they don't exist. Commander Vextar now faced a crisis that threatened everything he had been taught about Zaphirian superiority. 3 of his ships were gone. His remaining forces were confused and demoralized, and the human vessel they had tried to sabotage had become something that defied all understanding. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from Zaphirian High Command," his communications officer reported. Admiral Kethmore's image appeared on the main screen, his expression cold and angry. "Commander Vextar, explain why you have lost 3 ships to a single primitive human vessel." Vextar struggled to find words that would make his superior understand the impossible situation he faced. "Admiral, the humans have done something unprecedented. They have transformed our sabotage devices into hybrid technology that surpasses our own capabilities. They are no longer primitive." The Admiral's response was swift and final. "I am dispatching a full battle group to your location. 12 heavy cruisers and supporting vessels will arrive within the day. Whatever the humans have done, they will not survive a coordinated assault by the full might of the Zaphirian Empire." Jake Morrison received this intelligence through Nathan's monitoring of Zaphirian communications and smiled grimly. The aliens still thought they were dealing with ordinary humans using ordinary technology. They were about to learn how wrong they were. "All hands prepare for battle," Jake announced throughout the Liberty. "We're about to show the galaxy what happens when you try to destroy humanity." Admiral Kethmore's battle group arrived expecting to find wreckage and perhaps a few human survivors hiding in lifeboats. Instead, they encountered something that challenged everything the Zaphirian Empire believed about their place in the galaxy. The Liberty hung in space like a metallic beast, 3 times its original size and bristling with weapons that defied classification. "What is that thing?" Admiral Kethmore demanded from the bridge of his flagship as his sensors tried to analyze the transformed human vessel. His science officer studied the readings with growing confusion. "Sir, the energy signature is unlike anything in our databases. It appears to be generating power equivalent to a small star, and the hull composition includes materials that should not exist according to known physics." Kethmore commanded 12 heavy cruisers and 30 supporting vessels, representing enough firepower to destroy entire planetary systems. He had conquered dozens of species over his long career, and had never encountered anything that could threaten a Zaphirian battle group. But something about the human ship made him uneasy. Captain Jake Morrison stood in the Liberty's command center, surrounded by displays that showed every detail of the approaching Zaphirian fleet. Hannah Torres had mapped their formations, analyzed their weapon systems, and identified their command structure using sensors that could see through space and time itself. 12 heavy cruisers, 30 support ships, Hannah reported calmly. Standard Zaphirian battle formation designed for planetary assault. Their shields are configured to stop conventional energy weapons and kinetic projectiles. Jake nodded as he studied the tactical situation. His crew had grown to over 800 people, including humans rescued from other ships, captured Zaphirians who had chosen to join their cause, and representatives of other species that the Liberty had liberated during its journey through Zaphirian territory. Lisa, are the quantum cascade systems ready? Jake asked. Lisa Park smiled from her position at the engineering station. All systems are charged and standing by, Captain. The quantum multiplier will give us effective firepower equal to 50 ships our size. The battle began when Admiral Kethamore ordered his fleet to attack. Hundreds of energy beams and guided missiles streaked toward the Liberty, enough destructive force to vaporize a moon. But Steve Martinez activated the ship's ultimate defensive system just as the weapons arrived. The Liberty seemed to split into multiple copies of itself, each one real and solid, each one capable of independent action. The Zaphirian weapons struck empty space as the ship existed in several quantum dimensions simultaneously, making it impossible to target with conventional weapons. Impossible, Admiral Kethamore whispered as his fleet's devastating attack accomplished nothing. No ship can exist in multiple quantum states at once. Ben Clark responded to the Zaphirian attack with weapons that existed in the same multiple dimensions as the Liberty itself. Quantum-enhanced projectiles streaked toward the alien fleet, passing through their shields as if they were not there and striking the ship's hulls with devastating effect. The first Zaphirian heavy cruiser exploded in a cascade of quantum fire that consumed its entire structure in seconds. The blast was visible across multiple star systems as the ship's matter was converted to pure energy and scattered across several dimensions. Hannah Torres coordinated the multi-dimensional attack using her hybrid artificial intelligence system, which could process tactical information at speeds that made human and Zaphirian computers seem primitive by comparison. The Liberty's weapons struck with perfect accuracy, targeting critical systems on multiple enemy ships simultaneously. Target their command ship, Jake ordered. Let's introduce ourselves to the Admiral personally. Dr. Amy Collins monitored the battle from the medical bay, which had been expanded to handle casualties from multiple species. But the Liberty's enhanced defensive systems meant that no enemy weapons were reaching them, while their own attacks were devastating the Zaphirian fleet. Ryan Brooks led boarding parties against disabled Zaphirian vessels, using personal equipment enhanced with quantum field generators that made the human soldiers nearly invincible. They could phase through enemy hulls, survive in vacuum without life support, and disable alien crew members with weapons that attacked on multiple dimensional levels. The Zaphirian fleet began to break apart as ship after ship fell to the Liberty's impossible weapons. Admiral Kethamore watched his carefully organized battle formation dissolve into chaos as his vessels were systematically destroyed or captured. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the human ship," his communications officer reported with a trembling voice. Jake Morrison's image appeared on the Zaphirian main screen, but he was not what Admiral Kethamore expected to see. The human captain looked calm and confident, surrounded by technology that combined familiar human designs with alien systems that defied understanding. "Admiral Kethamore," Jake said in perfect Zaphirian language, "I am Captain Jake Morrison of the Liberty. We need to talk." Kethamore struggled to maintain his composure as he responded, "You speak our language." "How is this possible?" Jake smiled. "We learn quickly. Your empire has been destroying civilizations for thousands of years. That ends now." Nathan Hill had been monitoring Zaphirian communications throughout the battle and intercepting their desperate calls for reinforcements. Using his access to their command networks, he had been spreading word of the Liberty's capabilities to other Zaphirian fleets, causing panic and confusion throughout their military. Dr. Kelly Wright was managing the ship's expanded biological systems, which now included medical facilities capable of treating injuries from dozens of different species. The Liberty had become a refuge for survivors of Zaphirian conquest, and Kelly's work was helping them heal both physically and emotionally from their experiences. The battle ended when Admiral Kethmore's flagship was captured intact by one of Ryan Brooks's boarding parties. The Admiral himself was taken prisoner along with his senior staff, giving the Liberty access to the highest levels of Zaphirian military intelligence. Dr. Amy Collins interrogated Admiral Kethmore, using the same neural interface technology that had been so effective with the earlier prisoners. What she learned confirmed their worst fears about the Zaphirian Empire and its plans for humanity. They see all other life as a disease to be cured. Amy reported to Jake after the interrogation. Earth is already marked for sterilization. They plan to eliminate every human in the galaxy within the next 10 years. Jake made a decision that would echo throughout the galaxy for generations to come. Standing on his transformed bridge, surrounded by his hybrid crew and impossible technology, he announced that the Liberty would not return to Earth to warn of the coming threat. "We're taking the fight to them," he declared. "Every world they have enslaved, every civilization they have destroyed will be avenged." Nathan Hill sent a final message to Earth using captured Zaphirian quantum communication technology. The transmission warned of the alien threat, but also announced that humanity had evolved beyond what anyone thought possible. The Liberty had become something new, a fusion of species and technologies that represented the next step in galactic evolution. Lisa Park's final engineering report noted that the ship now contained manufacturing facilities capable of building entire fleets of hybrid vessels. Steve Martinez had perfected the quantum tunneling systems that would allow them to strike anywhere in Zaphirian space without warning. Hannah Torres documented the ship's incredible computational capabilities, which could now process information from across the galaxy and coordinate attacks on multiple star systems simultaneously. Ben Clark had created weapon designs that could be mass-produced and distributed to any species willing to fight for their freedom. Dr. Kelly Wright's biological research had unlocked the secrets of accelerated evolution, allowing any species to adapt and improve their capabilities in ways that would have taken millions of years under natural conditions. Ryan Brooks had trained security forces that combined the best of human tactics with alien technology and multi-species cooperation. The Liberty disappeared into deep space, leaving behind a trail of liberated worlds and a galaxy forever changed. Admiral Kethmore's battle group had been completely destroyed or captured, and word of the defeat spread through Zaphirian space like wildfire. In the depths of space, other enslaved civilizations began to hope for the first time in millennia. The humans had done the impossible, turning alien sabotage into the foundation for something that could challenge the mightiest empire in galactic history. The Zaphirian Empire had created their own destroyer by underestimating human potential. The Liberty had become proof that evolution, ingenuity, and determination could overcome any technological advantage. The age of Zaphirian dominance was ending, and a new chapter in galactic history was beginning. Captain Jake Morrison stood at the helm of his transformed ship and looked out at the stars that no longer seemed distant or hostile. Somewhere among those stars were civilizations waiting to be freed, and an empire that needed to learn what happened when you tried to destroy humanity. The hunt was just beginning.